everybody, a very good morning. Welcome back to part 2 of our brand new launch here at Carnation Crafts TV. I'm Dave Bradford, and hopefully you've already placed your order, but if you haven't, I've got good news. There is still some stock available, but this is our brand new collection, the first one of 2023, that is new and exclusive to us. You cannot find this anywhere else for the time being. And to let you know, actually, when the stock of this sells out, which it looks like it's going to do very, very soon, it may take us a good few weeks to get any more stock going forward. So rather than be disappointed and have to wait maybe a couple of months or something like that, order it today. We will get it to your door as quickly as we possibly can, because the Carnation Crafts team are brilliantly efficient and fast and quick at picking your order, sending it out to you. And as I mentioned, this is the Ponderance Place collection. Now, Ponderance Place, basically think about your garden, or maybe you haven't got one, but if you think about someone else's garden, maybe there's an area where you can sit, maybe there's like a couple of chairs, a little nice occasional table you can sit there, maybe have a glass of wine when the weather's nice, maybe you can then read a book or whatever. Is that your happy place? Is that where you go and kind of collect your thoughts, watch a little bit of wildlife? That's what Ponderance Place is all about, an area where good things happen and you can let your imagination run riot. Now, already 50% of the entire stock is gone. We've only officially done one launch show, and that was earlier this morning at 9 o'clock. I know Carla, who's here, and Taz as well, did a little bit of a Facebook Live preview last night, and lots of you picked it up there and then. You get the emails, you get your order in straight away. Now, let's have a little look at Ponderance Place. Basically, what you've got here is traditional Carnation crafts. This is what I think Carnation do spectacularly well with the characters and the storytelling, because rather than you being told a story that you try and recreate, you're given the characters, you're given the scenery and all the foliage where you can build that story and tell the story your way. So it's all about you, and you can put twists and turns in it, so you're never going to get bored with a collection like this. And also, when you go and look at them individually in a second, which is what we'll do, think about other collections you already own and think about how they can be mixed in with previous collections. Very, very versatile, really enjoyable, and very traditional Carnation crafts. Now, first things first, let's have a little look at what you're going to get die-wise. You've got this one here, which is your free-flowing. So there's the water butt with a tap, of course, as well, with flowers next to it. Next to that, now this is the heart of the whole collection. Within the reeds, this is your card shape. Now, to give you an idea as to how versatile this is, if I just drop one card in so you can see, look at what Sarah Dalrymple has done with this card blank. She's used it twice to make almost like an arch with the swallows going over the top. This is the sort of thing that we're talking about, that picket fence. It's snippable. You can snip away the reeds, you can snip away the flowers, you can snip away the picket fence and just have a longer fence if you want to. So although the die does many, many, many good jobs, when you've taken the die cut out, think about where you can snip it to make it longer, shorter, wider, thinner, whatever you want to do. So that's the main heart of it, the card shape. You've then got your leafy hollow. Now this is where I reckon, if not all of them, some of the characters will probably live. A really cute little house that you could put maybe glossy accent dewdrops on the roof, that sort of thing. Then we come on to some of the characters. The puddle buddies is what this is called. You've got your chick, not easy to say that. You've got your snail. Now I can't remember all the names. I remember Jeremy.
Jeremy, the frog. Alan and Norman.
Thank you. Down the bottom, we've then got, this is your beautiful character of the mouse. Now I think the mice in the range from Carnation are some of my favourite characters. Now he's not reaching up, well he is reaching up, he could be reaching up to do a bit of a dance, a bit of a rave, mouse rave, or it could be, which is what we think it is, diving off the diving board into maybe one of those buckets of water, going for a shower, that sort of thing. Then you've got your grounding devices, which are the boulders there as well. So he could be jumping off the boulders, you could put the characters on top of the boulders or the trees or whatever. Swallows, and they're snippable as well. And then finally down the end, you've got your terracotta pot and you've got your bucket as well, and the tray that your little characters can be having a bath in or whatever. They are absolutely adorable. 230101 is the item number for this. It's the first release on Carnation Crafts TV of 2023. So Happy New Year if we've not said that to you earlier on. Hope you had a great festive season. And the best price today is $98.99. Now I've got to stress, we're doing it slightly differently here. In that price, that is the best price. That's with the 10% discount code applied. So if you don't put the discount code in, which is PPCC10, you'll end up spending $109.99. So why do that? Put that in there, PPCC10. That will take the price down to $98.99 that you can see on your screen, and loads of you have already bought it and checked out as well. So this is Ponderance Place, and it's gone down a storm, hasn't it, Carla?
It has. It's been an amazing launch, which we knew it would be. It's just so cute, isn't it? It's so sweet. some of the comments here. Carol saying, remember that wildlife film with the gopher he keeps shouting, Alan, Alan, Alan. That's the snail is. I've just been showing Dave pictures of of a African land snail. I think it's put him off for life. I love snails so much. So Ponderance Place, what is it? Why is it? Where is it? It's here. It's selling super fast, so just to let you know that we don't know when the next set of stock can come in for an extended. They are trying to look into it at the minute, but we can't guarantee obviously that that's going to be anytime soon because of everything that's going on in the world. I think we're going to sell out of it. We've already got 50%. We've only done one show.
Yeah.
So the likelihood is it's going to scooch, just to let you all know.
Now, we'll do the balls in a sec. Just before we do that, though, can I also let you know of something else that's brand new, which you may well want to go with in conjunction with Ponderance Place, or you want this on its own? It's entirely up to you. We've got these fantastic nesting dies. Now, you might think, oh, I've got square nesting dies. I've got hearts. I've got ovals. Why do I need any more? These are actually replicating the look of slate. Maybe you've got some slate placemats in your kitchen or in your dining room or something like that. Well, that's what this is going to look like. You've got the beautiful decorative edge around each of the dies, but where there are vignettes, artwork on the website right now at carnationcrafts.co.uk that you can print off that gives you the look of slate, dark slate tiles, light slate tiles. And if you go for all of them today, you're going to get in total 70 dies in these 7 different shapes: square, circle, heart, oval, hexagon, DL, and your rectangles. And all of the artwork's there for you to print off right away, and they are beautiful. Now, this is just $107.99 if you would like to go for those. There are interest-free payment plans as well on our website. If you want to have a look there, you can see that. And of course, if you spend over £50 with us direct at carnationcrafts.co.uk, you only pay the cost of the product. You don't have to pay any P&P. And if you're in America, there are shipping and handling charges for you, but all of those are listed on our website, and it all is very clear there. But if you fancy going for those, we'll talk more about them and show them about a little bit later on. I've got a board here actually that can show you the look of the slate if you're wondering, you know, what the vignettes are all about. So yeah, there's a dark and there's a light colour to the actual slate. So the artwork, you know, Carnation are so generous at giving you artwork for virtually everything that they produce, whether it's a frame, whether it's a nesting die or whatever it might be, but that really does look like real slate. So you can print all that artwork off now if you'd like, and it's $107.99. But the boards for the main Ponderance Place then, should we have a little look at those?
Let's have a look at what we're getting. So we have got our puddle buddies, which are all of the creatures. So we've got Jeremy, the beautiful frog, and he is just gorgeous, isn't he? Those colours, that rich, intense colour that we've come to expect from Carnation. We follow on by Alan the snail, who is just absolutely beautiful with his gorgeous shell. He's very, very handsome. And then we have got Norman, who is the most gorgeous little chick, little duck, absolutely beautiful. All of these have got the flat edges at the bottom, including the frog, which allows us to put them in a bath or, you know, in a bucket, something like that, so they will sit completely flat.
Do you know what, as well, what's coming up next after Christmas, New Year, is Valentine's. Shortly after that, on the heels of that, it's Easter. That little chick for an Easter card.
Absolutely. Well, if you think of Spring Forward and stuff like that, he will go with all of those collections. And obviously for Valentine's, nothing says love more than a snail. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'll take your word for that.
Love the snails. And then we have got the little mouse here. This is perfect form. So you've got the little diving board and you've got the steps. Now, the whole point about Ponderance Place is that we've got this versatile collection that allows us to snip into it and change the die form that we've got. So once you've cut it, you can then change it, and that's important. And it's important because it means we get more value for our money, but it also, more importantly to me, is the fact that I get to control what I'm doing with the collection and how it works, but I get to control how it works with alternative collections that I've had from Carnation going back years. And that's the joy of this. So things like this, where I can cut away the little diving board, so I've just got those gorgeous steps, or I can cut the steps down. I can do various different things with it so that I can have a smaller step. For instance, if I wanted to put that on the side of the bath that you'll see coming up in a minute, it's as if the bath has got its own little diving board. So there's so many ways of playing.
There have been loads of mice characters in previous collections too, so here's another one to add to your collection.
Absolutely. And then we've got Monty. Monty could not be more handsome in his little swimming costume there. He is as cute as a button. He is all ready to go and ready to do all of the important things that happen when we're in a swimming pool. Now, he can be changed around, so you can rotate him so he's looking like he's diving into a pool. He can stand under free flowing, which I'll show you in a minute, so he's having a shower, or he can be doing yoga. He can be stroking something that's above his head. There's so many ways of playing with Monty. He's very, very sweet. And this is free flowing. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier and I should have done, this is a split die. So you can just see the little gap in between that die there, and there'll be another gap down here. What that means is we can do over the edge cards. So if you think of having a card that finishes, the front of the card finishes halfway down, this bit will sit over the edge. So you can create a scene on the inside of the card and on the outside as well. So you get the full split die there, you get your backing for it, and you also get your main piece, which is just stunning, right? It's really, really pretty. Again, snippability, you can cut away the tap, so you can put that onto different elements that you've had. Cut away this so that you've just got that piece that sits there, and you can have something else underneath it. So you could put the bath underneath there, or you could indeed cut away the whole of that and use the log for the snail to go across, something along those lines.
And remember, this is all artwork that Nick and his team here in the UK have produced so that you can use it in whatever way you wish. Absolutely fine for you to sell what you make at local craft fairs, that sort of thing, for charitable purposes or for personal gain. So it's a really, really, really generous thing that Nick and the team do to have such unique artwork and original artwork as well that's been actually hand-drawn and painted in the United Kingdom. It's superb. Makes Carnation even more special as far as I'm concerned.
Could Carnation be any more special?
No.
I don't know. So then we've got pots and pails, which is obviously the buckets, the little bath that the little ones could sit in. This could also work really well. You know, with compliments where there's the steak and stuff like this, could actually work as a frying pan in front of that as well. So you'll be able to put the steak behind it. So it would come in with that collection. You've got the little pail there as well, which is just super cute. And for anything that Carnation have done that have got florals, this can sit in there. It will work really well with all of those things. Miss Tistaz has just had a moment.
So I can't remember the collection's name where it's got the animals like the cow and
the Highland
geese
cow,
and
Daisy, the Highland cow.
yeah, and you got the llama and
Oh,
you can like put them in the mouth.
Rural Charm.
Yeah.
Yes, you'd be able to put the pail in their mouths.
Oh, yeah.
All of the, and little feed buckets. It's so cute, and you could have this as a little water trough in Rural Charm as well. Can we just take a moment to say that I actually remembered something as well, because at my age that's a pretty good thing. Then we've got Flourish of Swallows, which is one of my favourites as well. Actually, I'm going to stop saying that, the whole collection. But these where we can snip into them and use them as separate elements. You'll see me doing that through some of the demos, but also how we can manipulate that into an archway to create banners, or you can just have it floating off in the sky. It's super sweet. It's really lovely on white, I got to say, because that one piece where you've got that gorgeous blue tone coming through on white and white gives it all the impact it could possibly need.
I just think it's ticking all the boxes, and judging by your comments on YouTube and also, of course, on Facebook as well, you're agreeing, saying it's what you love about Carnation the best. And of course, you need somewhere for your characters to sit or whatever, and that's what the grounding devices are all about, or the boulders.
The boulders, yeah, always important grounding devices just to make sense of what you're doing on your card. And so you've got these. Now, they've done it as a decoupage. So this piece you can see is exactly the same as this, and this whole piece is exactly the same as this whole piece. So you can decoupage them up to create a 3D element, or you can start building them next to each other to create a wall, and it works really, really brilliantly. So you could build them up quite high. If you're doing a card that's, say, a DL, and you've got a smaller element that you want to use and it looks a little bit lost on the inside of your card, you can actually start to build up that wall and pop something on top of it. So just remember, grounding device is always going to be one of your most important pals. And then look.
I love this. I could see you in there. I'd live in there happily as well. I'd rock in that rocking chair any day of the week.
I would gladly go and sit in that rocking chair, read a book outside the little house, and just have the best time. But it's so sweet, isn't it? With the little roof, the little leaf roof. We're going to play with this next, I think, in the next demo. So you're going to see it working. I will try today to get through as many of the elements as I can throughout the demos, so you've seen as much. But we are here tomorrow and on Wednesday as well, so you can catch up with all of those things. But Wednesday will be composition day, and we will be looking at the Within the Reeds card shape very specifically. So please do come back for that one. But my favourite is Within the Reeds. I think mainly because its versatility is so enormous. The fact that we've got so many ways of doing it. So you've got your floral pieces here, and then we have your gorgeous reed piece here, and you've got your gatepost. Now it comes with a piece of water at the bottom and your little rockery. All of that can be snipped away. So you don't have to use this piece at the bottom if you just want it to be flat. This can be snipped away, so you can just use the reeds. The reeds can be snipped away so that you can just use the gatepost. You can obviously use it as a whole piece. But also, if you're using it as a card base, if you use the larger die at the back as the card base, you can push this, where the little pip is, backwards, and it will be the stand for your card. Now, we all know Say No More. We know how much everybody loves Say No More, where you've got those gorgeous bouquets with all those florals. Those florals that came with Say No More will go in with all of these as well, but you can use this in the same way that we use Say No More. So basically we can start building this up with florals at the top, put this, push it back so that you've got it as the main stand, pop a sentiment across the bottom here. You will have something absolutely spectacular. That's the power of this whole collection, and that's the power of this card.
Its potential is massive. Snippability is key. I've got to quickly say hello to a few of you that are saying hi on Facebook. Hi to Suzanne Page, Carol Hart, Trina Gardner, Karen Vincent. She says, hello again, mine's been dispatched. Thank you to the wonderful warehouse team. Absolutely, I'll pass your thanks on. Celia Jane Lithgow, Carol Hart, Linda McLeod. Hello again, everyone. She says, Serenity Soul in the USA. Hi, Serenity. And Amanda Elizabeth Spriggs. She says, I'm back again, back for more. I've got to quickly show you, again, some of these finished cards. I'm trying to show you different ones each show. And there's one more show, remember, at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So there's this one and that one and more tomorrow and Wednesday. Sue Rimple has taken 2 of those card blanks, put them together and snipped away as well at the swallows. I mean, every time you look at this, I see something different. You can see that the mouse is having a dive there, going into the pool. The little chicken's looking, or the little chick is kind of admiring him as well. But to have the swallows as like an archway across the top, I think that is just the icing on the cake for me. This is similar but different, and this is done by Fiona Abbott. So similar thoughts, Fiona, to what Sue's done. But again, using 2 of those card blanks side by side, and then a beautiful swallow arch going across the top. But just gorgeous. This one using Jeremy the Frog a couple of times. Remember the vignettes, the artwork, free for you to print off right now. So this is the beautiful thing. You can have an afternoon printing and admiring all the artwork and thinking about what characters you're going to put where, what stories you're going to be making up with them. And then your dies will be sent out virtually straight away. If you order them now, you'll probably get a dispatch notice within the next 60 minutes or something like that. But half the stock had gone by the end of the first show this morning. Got a couple of more new ones here as well. More of a traditional standard card this as far as the size goes, but look at how the foliage and the reeds and all those wonderful flowers can be used and bunched together in the centre. And a couple of chicks, because you've got your vignettes that are mirrorable, so you can have one pointing left and one going right, which works a treat. Here's another one. Oh, and this is using the Slate mats and layers. Janine Dawson, again, comes up trumps. How brilliant is that? And running in a bath, don't talk to me about running baths. Cold water, no heating. That was me yesterday, but I'm all right now.
It's not like you've been in Dickensian times. It was just one night, Dave. It was just
Honestly,
one night. You'll be okay.
I was under my duvet in my bedroom, fully clothed. That's how cold it was. I couldn't...
All right, Oliver.
Yeah, I know. But it's all sorted. The people I rent the room from were away for Christmas and New Year, and they forgot I was staying, I think. Okay, and here's another easel card. Pam Simpson. Oh, look at the way that works. As the stopper, the characters become the stopper at the bottom. That's really cool.
There's no end to your creativity with this collection. That's what I love. There's just so many different ways of playing with it. It's incredible.
Oh, someone said in the first show about box frames. Sorry, I've forgotten who it was that said that, but this is sort of a play on that. So it is really like a storytelling scene, isn't it, this? And again, using the square mats and layers with the slates to make that frame. Really love it. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, you've loved the collection as well. Well, remember, 11 o'clock show through until 12 and then back again between 1 until 2. I've also got to let you know, I know lots of people were asking about the USB and when that was going to be available. It is available in the show right now for you. Wait until you hear. There's 1,400 JPEG backing papers on this USB, and it is available in the show right now for you for an incredible value at $24.99. Before we get to demo, I'm just going to quickly show you the sort of thing that you can look forward to. We've got some thumbnails here, which is just basically a smaller version of the A4 sheets that you can print out. But this will give you some idea as to how dreamy these backgrounds can be. And again, think of all the collections you own from Carnation. Think about how they're going to work with these backgrounds. Some of them look quite kind of heavenly, others look semi-oriental, others look very English.
A lot of these will go with Grace and Calm, for those of you who absolutely adore that one. It'll go with so many of our collections. There's some there that will go with the Christmas collections. There's lots of variations here. It just gives you everything you need going for. Look at the richness of those. Really, really stunning. There's so many collections of carnations that you can use these backing papers with. So they're all there for you in one USB format, which is super easy to use.
To have this much artwork at your fingertips, 1,400, and you can print the same one off 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 times. There's no limit at all. But look at these. Aren't they lovely? And you can print them A4. You can do them
gorgeous.
A5 if you want.
They're quite dramatic, aren't they? There's a real drama to some of these, and some of them would make lovely inserts. So just remember, when you're printing some out, you can go at a lower GSM on your paper, cardstock, to make inserts for your cards. Or if you want to make it as an actual backing paper, it tends to be better to do a little bit of a thicker cardstock. So maybe a 170 if you're using ProPrint, but ProPrint is going to be your best friend on these.
Well, I can't believe there's 1,400 of them on there. $24.99, and they never disappear. They'll always be there in a really handy USB. So lots of you asked about that earlier on. There it is, 230131, $24.99. If you're buying that with the main collection, remember it'll be free P&P because you're spending over £50. And there are interest-free ways of spreading the cost of your order if you have a little look at carnationcrafts.co.uk. Okay, demo time.
Are we doing demos? Are we ready? Let's have a look at the hexagon. Let's have a look at the little house because it's cute as a button. So let's have a look at what we've got. So the hexagons I've cut twice. This is going to create my card base. I think you will know how to do this, but we do repeat it. And for those of you at home that can get frustrated with that, the reason we repeat is because we get new customers every day who have never made a card in their lives. I'm jealous of people who have never made a card. I wish.
Because you know what's around the corner.
Well, that idea, that journey where you're just entering this whole brand new, delicious world that's just going to open up, I think is such a nice place to be.
So when I first started at Creating Craft, I didn't even know what a die was, let alone how much was actually involved.
Wow.
I know, right? It's mad, isn't it?
Card crafting alone.
Yeah.
It's a whole world, and I love that. And lots of crafts have their own language, they have their own sort of thing that we get used to, but it's just interesting to watch it.
I remember when I did my first ever craft show, which is probably about 15, 20 years ago now, something like that. I heard the word decoupage, and I thought, deco what?
A deck of what now?
What on earth is this? But yeah, there's so much to it, but so much to enjoy, and it's a journey that everyone's going to have so much fun on if you are brand new. Tell your friends about us as well. If you're watching and you know someone down the road would like to look in on this and watch the demos, please let them know to tune into either YouTube, Facebook, or through the website carnationcrafts.co.uk.
So for those of you who don't know, this is a matte and layer. So what we're using here with the green is what's called a perfect paper, and Carnation bring out a range of perfect papers to go with every single collection that they release on the whole. And the perfect papers for this are, you know, they're just beautiful. What they do is when they create the artwork and they're making all the paintings and doing all the lovelies, hello Sharon Curtis, when they're doing all of those things, they colour pick from the artwork that they've created in order to create papers for you that will match perfectly with the artwork that we're using, which means that your cards can't clash, and it means that everything's going to go with everything, which is important, right? It gives us that kind of confidence to go forward knowing that everything's going to work. It's not paper, it does say perfect paper, but it is a cardstock. It is 300 GSM. You get 6 colours and you get 8 of each, you get 48. You can get that internationally as well. So it's UK shipping, but you can get it through international shipping as well. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. What you need to do is go onto the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk, and have a look at the shipping and handling. It will tell you how much it is, and everything will be sorted for you there. That goes with everything that's on the Carnation Crafts website. It is available in-house and it is available elsewhere. Joan Carter is saying, can't hear you. Joan, I think we're okay sound-wise at this end, so it might be something to do with your volumes or your internet, but I think everything else is fine. We haven't had any other people say, so I think sound-wise we're doing okay right now, so if you just check your settings.
I mean, it could be, Joan, like, you're like me, that if you've got a tablet, maybe you're watching a song. For example, I always deliberately turn my volume right down, otherwise I'm going to hear myself back. So maybe that's what you've done, I'm not quite sure. Or muted it maybe as well, but I think we're all okay.
My microphone's there. It sometimes does disappear, but it's there right now, so hopefully it'll be okay. So let's have a look at this little house. We've got this gorgeous little piece, as you see. Now I've cut extras. I did 3 of them, and I cut away the actual house. I can use that later on something else, not a problem. But I wanted to have a look at the decoupaging of this and how it would come together. So what I've done is I've got my little house here, and I have got It's always lovely when somebody rings you right in the middle of a show, isn't it? My little watch is tippy-tapping. I've got this. I want to put down a grounding device at the bottom, so that's just going to just tuck that little house behind. Now, what I'm trying to do effectively here is make sure that that house is being put backwards and that the roof is coming forwards. Partly, I can do that with the grounding device. It allows that door to look like it is retrieving, so we're getting some perspective. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually remove this, and I'll stick this down, but I'll just put a little tad, a little smidge of wet glue on the back of this. I'm not going to raise the house up at all. It is just going to be wet glue. I want to keep it flat, and I don't need much glue, but I'll just put it in a couple of optimum places, just to make sure it sticks right down.
It's just so nice to know that as soon as your order is placed, it will be dispatched instantly, and it's one of the quickest dispatch companies I've ever known. Carnation excel at that. As soon as your order is placed, someone's picking it from the warehouse and putting it in the post straight away. You should get it, hopefully, if not tomorrow, the day after, very quickly. Obviously, Royal Mail dependent, but certainly if you want it today, it's the eagerly awaited Ponderance Place first collection on Carnation Crafts TV this year that's exclusive to us for a good few weeks to come.
Yeah, you can't get it anywhere else just yet. I'm just going to place those rocks there, so they're grounding out my house nicely. I'm just going to wiggle that. So already we're creating something super, super cute, and we're asking the house itself to retreat. Now, in order to make the house retreat, I need to bring other things forward. So the first thing I'm going to do is use that little rocking chair, and I've got the dip in the rocks.
Probably the sort of place you'd rent at a glamping site, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
If you had a few full of those, they'd be really popular, I reckon.
Really, really sweet. So I'm just going to place this and allow that rocking chair just to sit just next to my rocks, slightly off the side of my card. And that's going to sit at the front. Now, perspective-wise, because of the size of the rocking chair, makes the house look like it's retreating, which is what I'm trying to gauge. But further from that, I want it to sit even more favourite. So more favourite, I was just reading that post on the screen there. I want it to sit more forward. So I'm going to make the house retreat by bringing the roof upwards. So I'm using this as a decoupage layer. So I cut the house away. I've got a new set of leaves for the top. Now I'm doing this the best I can from overhead, so please bear with me. I'm just going to place that there so it sits forward. As that protrusion happens, we start to get the door going back. You can just see it's retreating further and further away. Then I'm going to take another one. I've just cut the stalk separately this time. I could have done another layer, but I'm okay just with the stalk. But I'm going to put that then on the top.
Yeah, I love what Linda McLeod said here. She said, my favourite little house, I do ceramic painting and like doing fairy houses just like that one. My mum used to do that actually years ago. She was a ceramic painter. She loved it. Okay, is there a code? Joan Carter, yes there is. We put it up on the screen at the beginning of the hour, but we'll put it up again there for you. Now what we're doing now is we're showing you the price with the code applied. So if you apply PPCC10, which why wouldn't you, it takes the price down from $109.99 to $98.99. So that's the price that everybody's going to be paying if you use that code, PPCC10. You won't get that price without using that code, and it has to be capitals as well.
Keep talking, I've dropped some birds.
Uh-oh.
Can I just say, well, Dave, you just pretend you're moving your mouth. I'm going to just get some birds from down here.
Okay.
Karen's just saying she's got a problem with her gift voucher being added as 0, so Carnation have taken 50 too much. And she's saying she can't get in touch with them by phone. Karen, just email them if you haven't already, and they will sort that out for you. I can't get down because this is in the way, so just my bottom is showing on
Just
screen.
email Carnation Crafts and they will get to the bottom of that for you. Ever a problem like that, the customer services at
Or
Carnation.
message through Facebook is the other one. They will sort it for you, Karen. They're the best customer services in the industry.
230101, that's the product code if you want to get for the Ponderance Place today, remember, which is the brand new launch with all these wonderful characters. Don't forget, we've also got the perfect papers that Carla was talking about before.
You're doing very well filling, Dave. I'm back up.
I spent my lifetime filling. Okay, 48 sheets of 300 GSM, all the colour. If I just grab a card, I'll tell you what, let me grab this one. Look, if I just hold that card there, against the perfect papers, can you see that all the different colours that are in there are mirrored and matched beautifully by the actual perfect paper cardstock? So you cannot go wrong. No colour clashes when you're using your perfect papers. Only $14.99. Add it to your order. If it is being added to with the main collection, you're spending over £50. You won't have to pay the P&P, but if you buy it on its own, it's $2.95 UK postage. Okay, 230118. You're right now.
Yes, I'm absolutely fine.
I wonder where you go.
We've
gone downstairs?
Down there. It's because all my Ponderance places. I did just remember as I was doing all that and I was foraging around on the floor trying to find some birds. I've got a whole bag full of stuff down here. I could have just taken it from there. But who wants to make life easy when it can be incredibly difficult? So we've got the beautiful house sitting there. We've made it retreat by putting the extra stalk on the top. So we're creating those decoupage elements. What I'm going to do here is just create those birds, and I'm just going to create a round around the house. So I'm just placing very, very gently, just a smidge of glue, just to seat those there. I'm going to do the same at the opposite side, just to do some symmetry. Joan, where you're saying EEPC10, it is PPCC10.
Yeah, capital P, capital P, CC10.
All in uppercase, and that will give you your discount vouchers. If you do it in lowercase, it won't go through, so please do use the uppercase for it. That will make the code work for you, and you can then go from there. So PPCC10. So we've got our little birds flowing there, which are just super beautiful. Now, I just want to top it off with something very, very simple, and I'm using those slates. So this is the hearts, and I'm just going to pop this on. I've got a tiny, tiny piece because I only want the bottom to stick, and I'm just going to pop it at the back of that house. Because I decoupage and because I made sure I didn't put wet glue on, I can just poke it between the layers, and I can do it on whichever layer I choose because I've got my decoupage and I made sure not to put glue on my stalks. So I'm just going to place it there, pop it centrally, so around about there, just so we've got that little love house at the top, love house, love heart, and then I'm just going to pop just to bring the yellow, because I want to bring those blues out from the bird, so I'm going to use some yellow to make the blue stand out even more and the yellow stand out even more. Just a tiny, tiny little emblem on my heart to do the little overhang on those hexagons, and doesn't that come together so beautifully? Well, this is the most amazing collection. So Pam's saying, Carla, can you wiggle your mic? Is my mic come undone when I was bending over? It's still there. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
I think you came unplugged.
It was when I was bending over, I think.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now, Pam?
Hopefully you're louder. If not, I'll give you mine.
I don't think anybody wants me to be louder. I think they'd rather I just turned my mic off for good, to be honest. But, you know.
Okay, now remember, this collection is brand new to us today. First collection launched on Carnation Crafts TV of 2023, so great excitement. I hope you had a fantastic festive season. We're bringing basically what Carnation does, I think, the best back to you with the characters and, of course, all that snippability. Nick and the team, who are the artists behind this artwork, work tirelessly and know what you need as a crafter for snippability. If you want that picket fence to go on, you can snip it away a couple of times and have a longer picket fence. If you don't want it there are little snip lines in the artwork that allow you to snip the willows and the vines away, and all those wonderful wild flowers that can kind of be placed within. So it's entirely you're painting the picture. You're given the images and the ideas, and then you put them together to tell that story. And the whole collection today, remember, is $98.99 if you use PPCC10. That's the all-important discount code that will get you that best price of $98.99. Otherwise, it will be $109.99. I've just been handed another couple of these fantastic samples here. Vera Bow, another great member of the design team, has done like almost like a wardrobe style card here, but she's used to great effect glossy accents, so it looks like splashes of water coming from the actual tap, and of course she's done a line of glossy accents there to make the water very three-dimensional. Little Jeremy popping his head out of the pot there, which is fantastic. Now, I've not opened this yet, so I'm not sure what's inside it, so it's a surprise for me as it is to you. Make a splash. Oh, look, how cool is that? Going for a dive. He's brilliant.
I love Monty on the front, because Monty on the front's diving on the front. Have you seen him? If you shut that side, look, Monty is just at the top of the card.
Oh, I didn't see him up there.
And then there he is inside, and he is making his landing.
There you go. It's coming in for a landing. Fantastic, isn't it? So yeah, there's just so much potential, and we've got lots more of the design team cards to show you as well. Thank you, Taz. She's giving me a whole load here for you. It's always a good indication when the design team cards arrive. They come in usually a box or two. We've got about 4 or 5 boxes, so that shows you how much fun the design team have had. This is one from Janine Dawson again. Lovely, lovely. Jeremy again making a. He's a bit of a star, Jeremy. Everyone seems to love Jeremy.
Everyone thinks Jeremy's very handsome, don't they? Alan is my.
He's your favourite.
Alan's my boy. No, I love Jeremy. It's the colours. Carnation's ability to pick colours is just ridiculously clever.
Thank you, Barbara, for this one. Yeah, Barbara's done this one. Barbara Treadwell. This is Barbara Treadwell again. Love them.
They're so sweet.
And this one is using the card base. Again, Barbara's done this one too. Look at that.
For any of you who are looking for really gorgeous sentiment stamps, Carnation do sell really lovely sentiment stamps on the website. Go and have a quick squiz through. So when you go onto the website, in the search box, just type in stamps and go and have a look at which ones they get. The sentiment ones are absolutely gorgeous because they've got unusual sayings on them, and they're perfect little partners for the cards we make with
Now,
Carnation.
if you're wondering about the Slate mats and layer dies, you think, well, I've already got some mats and layers. Do I need any more? These are very, very different, not only in their shape and the fact that you've got all the decorative detail that gets cut into the edge of the actual mat and layer, but also you've got the artwork. In other words, the coloured slate effect on the website, like with all the vignettes for the dies in the main collection. They're there for you to print off right now if you want to go for them. And this is a couple of layers of the hexagon that Janine's used on this, but they're really cool and very, very different indeed. Here's a board that shows you exactly that effect of looking like real slate, and it's almost like this is maybe a set of dining room placemats or something like that that have been layered on top of each other. Very, very stylish. It's the sort of thing you get really posh food served up in posh restaurants. Not that I've been to a posh restaurant in a long time, but there you go. So that's the sort of thing that you can create with them.
I fed you at my house. I'm basically a posh restaurant.
You're not a posh restaurant.
Dude.
You're a...
I know somebody who won't
You're
be
a
getting
posh
lunch.
house. You're
Somebody
a
who
posh
won't be getting
house.
lunch today.
You don't charge those. You can't be a restaurant.
I could try.
You could try charging, yeah.
Charge you today.
Now have a little look up here. So these are the 7 you're going to get. They come in separate packets. If you want them individually, feel free. They're on the website for you. But if you buy them as a set of 7, there are 70 dies in total. $107.99 is your price. And again, don't forget to, we can use the code on this as well, can't we, for this to get that price? Yeah, so this is PPCC 10. That will take it down from $119.99 to that best price of $107.99 for all of those. And I bet printers up and down the length and breadth of the country today, Carla, will be working overtime with all those vignettes and those.
I hope so.
Background
Absolutely,
papers
there's
too.
lots of ones to get. So I'm going to demo with you. I'm going to do the ovals. I just want to talk to you a second about when we're working with a shape that doesn't stand up on its own. So for something like a circle or an oval, you have that difficulty when you're making your card base. It will rock, and obviously that's not going to help, and we need it to stand still. Circles, ovals are 2 of the main problems for that, and so often we use them just for easels, but they can be used for main card shapes as flat pieces as well. You don't need to just stick to them as easels, but it can be a pain. So I have talked to you about it before, but I just want to talk to you about it. In order to do that, on the back piece of the card, we have to cut a straight edge, and it can be really tricky to do that. Now, one of the things, and I'm telling you this because I learnt it the hard way and the long way, one of the things I always used to do was score my card at 1/2 inch, and then I would cut the bottom off, and there's a problem with that, because if those two aren't parallel to each other, then the card is wonky, because this isn't the same as this. So when it's standing flat here, if everything else is on the wonk, you can tell. So the way around that, for all of you who are brand new and you're just starting, and loads of you will already know this, I didn't, so sometimes help can be help. Always cut your straight edge first. Once you've cut a straight edge, lean it against your scoreboard, so you've got your ridge on your scoreboard, and then score it. So you'll have a straight for both. The other way around doesn't work so well, but if you cut it first, then score it, you'll get your straight edge. So I hope that helps somebody at home.
Perfect.
I've got my red liner tape here.
Hello to Jane Latos. She's got the set. Can't wait to play with it, she says. Oh no, yeah, your mic's all right now, by the way.
I know.
You plugged in again.
Well, it was all a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's the least of my worries right now. So I'm just going to place this here. Make sure I've got them relatively straight. Now the rules change when we're doing it this way, obviously, because previously I can butt this up, but that piece that I've cut isn't going to help me in that way. So I'm going to eyeball it essentially and just place. So I've got my temp base all sorted, but it means now that my card will stand because I've got the flat base there, whereas if it was the other way, it's obviously going to rock back and forwards and the recipient won't be able to have it straight. Then I've got my mats and layers. This is my perfect paper, so we're going to create those tabs. I don't know about you guys. I have a real trouble putting those on horizontally. I've got to do them in portrait, so I'm going to do that this way. So just
of course, the
place it
perfect
down.
papers, you get 48 sheets, 6 colours, 8 of each, 300 GSM. Add those in. That'll be the best decision today if you're going to go for the main collection, because all the artwork you're printing off right now, maybe at home, will complement with those colourways.
So I'm building up some layers. I've got those beautiful cream tones that come through. These would be really gorgeous Easter colours as well. They're just pretty as a picture. Put on some white, and so I'm building layers. It looks like a vanity mirror. It's really pretty. Just place in, push, pull. Okay, but I do want to work with it in landscape, not in portrait, and I always, obviously, because we've all done it, we've all had the upside down card, so just making sure that that sits at the bottom. Doesn't matter so much for me when I'm demoing, but certainly when we get them home, we want them to be right. So I've got these two pieces. This is from Free Flowing. We're talking about the versatility of them and how we can make them to be different things. And so basically I've snipped into them, and I'm using just that log really and a couple of the floral bits that are attached to it in order to create a little place for Alan to sit. So I'm going to turn it over because I want that flat edge for Alan and that flat edge for Alan, because the other side's obviously got the big blue flower. I could do it the other way, it doesn't really matter, but it's just so that he's got his little place to sit. That's all I need.
I love the fact that on the website as well, Carnation give you the opportunity of either printing the vignettes off single-sided or double-sided. If you're not going to see the back, there's no point in printing the double-sided, save your ink. But if you are going to see the back, or you want to have a left and a right, then it's there as an option, which is great.
So I'm just going to find my central point roughly and just place in about there. Nothing too stressful, just to place it, and then I'm just going to overlap ever so slightly at the bottom. So I'm just reflecting through to create that simple V shape, and I'm not too worried about the flowers. I'm not, because I'm going to be covering a lot of that anyway. The main thing is just to create that base. Then from that I've got my florals, and I'm just going to bring some of these in. I've got one set that I did the little spiral with that I was talking to you about earlier, just so I've got a set that I can place down, and then I've got some others as well to bring in at the other side. So I'll just put these as I've got them now, but I'm not going to put glue at the very end because I need to see where I need to snip them, and I can snip them at the end if I can leave them free flowing. So I'll just place about there to add in a little extra colour and texture, leaving this free. I can snip this in a moment. And then I'm going to go in, same again, pretty much at the other side. So the way I do it is to take my florals, put them together in the shape that I want, and then I'm going to take just one stem, doesn't matter which, push these, and then all I'm going to do is twist. And I'm going to twist all the way down just to keep them all together. Now what this does is allow me basically to become my own florist, because I can manipulate and maneuver all of the flowers now because they're together. So I can change the formation of them, but I'm not going to keep dropping them because they've got those beautiful, very, very narrow stems. It gives me a little bit more control and manipulation power for me to be able to do what I want.
So if you think about, if you buy a card collection that's been pre-printed, very often, you've got a topper, you've got a story, the story can't be changed because it's been pre-printed. These are moving characters and moving pieces that allow you to build up that story. It's all about the versatility, and you could have 100 people making cards out of this collection, and everybody's card would be probably different.
So I'm placing these over this side, and then I'm going to take my little snips. Now that I know I've got them placed, I don't want these sitting there because they're not pretty, right? It's distracting from what I'm doing. So I'm just going to snip in at that V line on both sides just to remove my excess, but I know that everything else is stuck in place. You can see how those colours pop. This is all part and parcel of printing on ProPrint, because those pinks, those gorgeous yellows, when we're using ProPrint, that ink is going to sit at the surface of that paper and give me that vibrancy.
ProPrint paper's on the website now, yeah? You find it in different GSMs, yeah.
It's all there. If you're using it for a mirrored vignette, which is where it's a double-sided vignette, then you're really going to want to be going in with a 120 because it's going to double up in size. If you're using it just with a white background, then you really want to be looking probably at about the 220. 170 can get away with it, but I wouldn't go 120 for a single-sided. So I'm just going to follow Alan's shell line here just to bring out the shape of it, a little bit there, and then along his body, just working from the outside first, then working my way in just to give him that extra bit of oomph.
And use your glossy accents for maybe his eyes or the shell. If you want to give him a nice glossy shell, that would look good.
Now, because I've got a mirrored vignette and I can use him either way, I want them to be facing each other. I want them to be looking at each other and having a little moment together. So one snail will be, I'll be using my ball towel on one side of it and the other, so that when they're opposing each other, does that make sense? They will have that kind of protrusion. So I know he's been done from the back, so this one I'm going to do from the front here.
I would imagine this is a Valentine's card. How cute would that be? Two snails kind of gazing into each other's eyes.
Well, that's the sort of Valentine's that I like more, really, because of kind of who I am as a person. I like the sort of silly and the lovely.
And of course, you used to have a snail.
Lavinia.
Huge one.
My giant African.
I've never seen a snail that size before.
My giant African land snail.
Yeah.
She was very beautiful. She used to go for little walks along the wall. She was very stunning.
Very slow walks.
So, so there we have Alan. And then what I'm going to do is just place my love heart in the centre. So this becomes, like we say, a Valentine's card. Or a love card. We can just have a love card. And I think I'll place the Valentine's. Where shall I put it? I think I'll put the heart there. Place that in. And then Alan can be crawling along my little log. So I'm going to pop some pin flare in. Just into his shell and onto his body. The piece on the shell I'm going to raise a little bit higher so that his shell is going to sit proud and forward. And I'm just going to place him this way, just ever so slightly. Look at his little face.
This is going to make you smile. If you're selling your cards, the people that buy it are going to smile. If you're just gifting them to friends and family, they're going to smile as well. It's quality. Carnation is unlike any other company I've ever had the privilege of working for. And they actually asked me, because they knew how passionate I was about and how much I love Carnation, to come here once a month and do a launch with Carla and Taz. So that was a real privilege for me to do it. And I just never get tired of Carnation Crafts and their artwork. It's always groundbreaking, different and unique. Love it.
And there we have the very cute, the very beautiful little Valentine's card that's made from this collection. And I think what's important to understand is that Ponderance Place, there we go, Taz, is that better? Ponderance Place is entirely about every single occasion that comes through the year. It's got something for everyone. It's got something for all occasions, no matter what the occasion is. Even down to Christmas, you can manipulate this into a Christmas card. It's incredibly versatile. It's incredibly snippable. It's got all of Carnation's love and passion in it as well. And it's that traditional Carnation core feel.
And Ponderance Place could be that little area of your own garden where you sit and just watch the world go by. It could also be your favourite spot on a riverbank near where you live, or whatever it may be. When you've been on holiday, you found a certain little nook where you just lose yourself and can have a bit of you time. That's what Ponderance Place is all about. But you tell the story. If you look again at this card, this is more of a picture than it is a card, because you've got those mats and layers from those fantastic slate nesting dies. They really are a game changer. When I heard about them this morning before we came on air, and they said, well, they represent slates, and I thought, well, how's a white sheet of cardstock going to look like some slate? But the actual artwork, the vignettes, are there on the website now, free for you to print off, and then when your dies arrive, it will cut out the shape of the slate, but you've actually got the artwork there to give it that real slate effect and slate look. But let's quickly remind you of the details then of Ponderance Place itself. Remember, this is what Carnation, I think, do the best. And this is where they started many, many years ago, and it's now where they traditionally and continue to visit and go back to the characters, the storytelling, the whimsy. If you don't want the characters in everything that you make, you've got all these beautiful flowers. You've got, of course, over here you've got the free-flowing, the water butt as well. Maybe you've got a water feature like that in your garden right now. The card shape, though, the within the reeds card shape is, as ever, spectacular. This is just using one of them on an easel card that Pam Simpson has done. And if I just show you that, hold that up to the camera for a second, isn't that just beautiful? And you do have the chance of kind of cutting half of it out of the cardstock as well if you want to. So it's all about the versatility. We've used a couple of the characters there as the stop for the easel card too. Then we go to the leafy hollow. So again, that reminded lots of you, I know, of like ceramic art, pottery. My mum used to do that many years ago. Could be a fairy house it reminds you of. The puddle buddies, I love them. You've got the chick. You've got the snail there as well, and you've also, of course, got Jeremy the frog. Down the bottom, still included in the set, is our little mouse, our little diving mouse. Now, he could be in mid-air, he could be on his way into the water, he could be kind of perched on the diving board there, it's up to you. The boulders, three-dimensional boulders for decoupaging it. You've then got the swallows, and finally you've got the water butt and the terracotta jar or vase, and also of course the tray there that all the animals could be having their bath in as well. The whole thing is $98.99. Now you do need the code that's just up there, okay? Without that you won't get it for $98.99, but if you put PPCC10 in the promo code box at checkout, it will take it down to the best price, which is just there, £98.99. So under £100 for all of that is amazing, and free access to all the artwork at carnationcrafts.co.uk right now. Just have a fun afternoon printing all the artwork off, looking at all the characters, smiling away to yourself, and your dies will be with you as soon as you can. Okay, and don't forget the perfect papers too. And if you are interested in the USB with over 1,400 printable backgrounds on it, that's on the website for you as well. So we're going to take a short break to go and have some very fine bolognese.
Bolognese,
for lunch.
yes, indeed.
And we'll be back at 1 o'clock with the last of the 3 shows today. But remember, there are shows scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday. But head off to the website now and make your purchase, and we'll see you in about 60 minutes.